Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Chrysler. I'm an agent with Optimum Realty Group, and today I wanted to discuss a little bit of my experience with a pretty debated topic, and that is for sale by owners. I've actually spoke with many for sale by owners since getting my real estate license. I've had some that have had me over for appointments, shared their stories with me. I have some that have been clients, some that are my friends now that I've built relationships with, and others not so much. So I have a little bit of my own experience and my own knowledge with just talking to people that go for sale by owner. So I will share my opinion based off of that personal experience. A lot of the people that I've talked to that end up going for sale by owner to sell their houses are in a tough financial spot. The price of their home has dropped significantly. They don't have a lot of equity. So typically, for the people that are trying to sell for sale by owner, they want to just save some of their hard-earned money. That's usually the motivation, unless they just hate real estate agents, which I've come across a couple of those people, but usually for sale by owners want to save some money. They don't want to pay a full commission, which totally reasonable. I get that. I like doing things on my own as well when I can. I like doing DIY. Totally get it. But if I was to sell my home and list it, the property that I own, would that be a for sale by owner? So in that case, I would say not really. For me, I think it would be different for lawyers. Lawyers can't really represent themselves, but if I was to list a property that I owned, it would not be for sale by owner, technically, because I hold a real estate license. And I work through a brokerage, which is also licensed, and they back me and they would facilitate the entire transaction. So it would go under Optimum Realty Group like it normally would. My broker would be involved. So myself and the brokerage that I am licensed with, we pay fees, we do continued education, we pay into liability insurance as well to protect the consumer from anything that could go wrong. So for me to sell my home, I already have lock boxes. I have access to professional signage, photos, advertising on the MLS. All of that stuff is available to me because I've already paid to get that set up. I got all of those things when I started my business. I have all the apps, Showing Time, Century Key, all the things that make showing the properties easy and streamlined for potential buyers. As a for sale by owner, you can access these things, but it can get expensive to start paying out of pocket for each item to just do one sale. So most likely, you're going to find an alternative. You're probably not going to want to pay for all of the top of the line products. You might not want to pay for the signage, so you'll find an alternative, which leads to usually the selling process becoming more difficult, time consuming for you and for the buyers, as well as not looking as professional. If you're using lockboxes or signage that are not professional or not what we use, it's going to stand out in usually a not so good way. So just getting the property listed and advertised is already going to be a ton of work for you, and it's going to start costing you a lot of money out of your own pocket if you're doing this on your own. So let's just say that I'm working with a buyer and they want to view a property and it's for sale by owner. This is what I tell people that I've worked with. This is what I tell for sale by owners. This is just the honest truth. So we view the property, the clients like it, we decide to write an offer to purchase, all right? At this point, I'm already nervous because I'm dealing with somebody who's not licensed, first and foremost. They probably have never done a deal before. If they have, it's been a very long time. Things are constantly changing. And most likely it's going to end up being way more work for me, which is fine, and I can deal with that. But what if the owner has not disclosed something like water damage or what else? Maybe there was a grow-op in the house. Maybe they didn't know that they had to disclose these things, and it wasn't meant to be malicious or dishonest, but they just didn't know. That becomes a problem for me, though. And how do you know if you've never done your real estate licensing or you've never done the courses? Of course, you wouldn't have any knowledge of that. So let's just say in this scenario, we actually managed to agree on everything else. We negotiate some kind of a commission deal. We negotiate the price that we're going to pay for the house, and we've actually closed the deal and got a firm sale. Let's just say that actually happens. What happens in 3 months when my clients call me and they have found something wrong with the house that they weren't aware of, and it's going to cost them thousands of dollars to fix, or maybe they can't live in the house while it's being repaired? Something like that happens. Like, that is what crosses my mind as an agent when I'm working with somebody, because it's my job to prevent these things from happening to the best of my ability. If something like that were to happen to one of my clients or one of my buyers, I would feel like as an agent that I hadn't done my job, that I hadn't done my due diligence. So that's just the honest truth. I have no problem with people going for sale by owner, but that is going to be my concern. And like, my clients are going to be number one in that situation. So throughout my experiences, I have heard lots of people tell me that they've sold their own homes and it's been great. I've also seen videos and blogs where people talk about this and they saved all this money, and they can't speak highly enough about it, which is awesome if that's been your experience and that has worked for you. But typically, if you go for sale by owner, there's 2 things that are going to happen. Number one, agents are going to call you, and they're not going to have a buyer. They're just simply going to try and pick you up as a client and earn your business, which is awesome too. But you're going to have to deal with those phone calls, okay? And number 2, people that are not using a buyer's agent will call thinking that they are going to get to save some money too, because you're cutting out the agents, you're cutting out the realtors, so you're going to save money because you're not going to have to pay a commission. Where I work in Alberta, usually, like, I've never seen it done any other way, the sellers actually provide the commission to the buyer's agent. So if you're a buyer and you're not using an agent, you're actually not saving any money because you wouldn't be paying a commission anyway. But that's just a side note. So in my experience, that's the second option. People are going to show up that don't have an agent and they think they're also saving money. So you both, that is your motivation. What's going to happen is if they do write you an offer, it's going to be way less than fair market value. They're going to be trying to get a deal. Okay? They're probably also going to be difficult to work with because if neither of you have an agent, like, there's going to be a lot of things that you have to sort out to actually get the deal closed. There's actually stats that are available showing that for sale by owners who do end up selling, end up getting less money in their pockets than if they had used an agent and paid a commission. And I think that those are probably part of the reason for that. If you have one buyer that's looking to get a deal versus all of the buyers that are coming and competing against each other, of course they're going to pay more money. Okay? So when it comes to a huge asset like a piece of real estate, I think it's worthwhile to hire a professional. As an example, I sold my Honda Civic a few years ago, and I listed it for around $10,000 on Kijiji, and I sold it privately through somebody that I met on Kijiji. It went fairly well. I mean, I had to deal with the hassle of talking to people and meeting them and back and forth and arranging times, but I was able to do it, and everything went fine at the end of the day. But with my $30,000 car, I don't know that I would feel comfortable meeting a stranger in my back alley and doing that deal. At that point, with that much money on the line, I would way rather sell it to the dealership, maybe for a little bit less money, and then have them deal with the buyers and handling that much cash or whatever financing. Same goes for a $500,000 or $1 million property. Most of the homes in Calgary are in the 400,000s. That's still a lot of money. I want to know that the buyers are legit, and I'm not going to have something go wrong and potentially put myself in a situation where I'm super vulnerable, especially if you're selling your primary residence. Like, you cannot afford to have something go wrong when you need somewhere to live. That's just not something that I would be willing to risk. So, that being said, those are some of my opinions about for sale by owner. I totally respect the fact that if you can do it yourself and save money, like, rock on. But, you know, statistics show that you're actually not going to end up saving any money by going for sale by owner, and it's probably going to be a huge hassle for you as well as a buyer. I don't know that I would be comfortable being in that situation and putting all my livelihood out on the line. So, that being said, any agents that are watching this, if you have experiences with for sale by owners, or maybe you've been a buyer's agent with a for sale by owner, can you please put your experience in the comments? I would love to know. I've never actually done a deal on the buyer side with a for sale by owner. I've worked with sellers. So if you wanted to share your experiences with me too, that would be amazing. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will be putting out new videos every Monday about real estate tips and information about Calgary and the market. So thank you so much. Have a great day.